Hello, and welcome back to the Experience More Tour Table Talk series. My name is Marshall. I'm the facilitator for the Experience More Tour. And today we are here with Danner. And we aren't just here with one person from Danner, but we're here with three people from Danner, which is awesome because we're going to get a lot of different perspectives weighing in on some of their lifestyle pieces, as well as how that translates into the outdoor category as well. So I'm going to hand it off to Danner. I'll be back after they're done to talk a little bit about the testing that goes on with Danner. But with that, Jordan, I'd like to hear from you.
Yeah, thanks, Marshall. My name is Jordan Lamach. I've been in the outdoor industry for a little over 7 years. Yeah, I've had a focus really on education, training, sales, but education and training is really my passion. Really looking forward this year to getting out and traveling more. Traveling starting to open up, so I'm looking forward to getting into the store with you guys.
Awesome, Jordan. Hi, all. My name is Yoji Kaneda. I'm the product line manager for Danner Lifestyle and Accessories. I moved to Portland 5 years ago from Japan. And as you can see from the photo, mushrooming is my hobby along with fishing in general. I got introduced to fly fishing in Oregon, and I've been in love with it ever since. The scale and the accessibility of the outdoors in the States is overwhelming, fascinated. And you are all lucky to have access to this land, and I am honored to be part of the community. Now, passing on to Mr. Tingley.
Yeah, my name is Mickel Tingley, and I work in the Portland area. I've worked at Lacrosse Footwear for coming up on 6 years anniversary, and I am national account manager, which means I'm basically sales rep, and I focus on key outdoor and lifestyle accounts. I wanted to thank the Experience More Tour team and everyone on the call today. We want to be a resource for you and feel the best way to do this is pure and simply spend some time together. So yeah, let's kick it off. I wanted to start with describing the brand with 3 words: quality, heritage, and performance. And you'll continue to hear this throughout the clinic today, and we feel it's important and also a point of difference for the brand. Charles Danner established the company in 1932. With the idea of building high quality, handcrafted work and logging boots. We are a heritage performance brand, and today we continue to build boots for men and women that rely on and consider the quality of their boots essential tools to get the job done. One of my favorite parts of working at Danner is we're pretty much the benchmark of footwear for the wildland firefighters. Just really cool and really kind of proud of that and supporting what those guys do out in the front lines.
Well, thanks, Mickel. So yeah, I just want to dive into a little bit of what goes inside of Danner boots. 2022 actually marks our 90th anniversary. And, our boots are built with the knowledge and skill accumulated over those 90 years. Quality really isn't our DNA. We take pride in crafting footwear that's going to take you, on a walk down to your local coffee shop or your pub, to, the local trails, to the job site, and even on your favorite backpacking or hiking adventure. Our imported boots are held to the same exact standards as our Portland-made boots as well. Okay, speaking of quality, here's a picture of some leather that goes into Danner boots. We work with select partners to source the leather. We held our vendors to really high standards. And on top of that, once the leather arrives in our factory, we subject the leather to an additional 6 tests before it goes into the production line. This is actually one of my favorite pictures from our Danner factory. This is an image of how our GORE-TEX booties are tested. This is a required test from GORE-TEX, testing the construction quality and the seam taping. If you guys are curious a little bit more about the construction of boots, make sure to check out our resource center. We've got a link to one of our factory tours where they show the construction of boots and GORE-TEX booties. Off to you, Yoji.
Thanks, Jordan. So I'd like to talk about some of the history of our company and some of our iconic boots. So we were a logging boot company for a very long time, but in the 50s, we started building recreational outdoor boots. Bill Danner was an avid hunter and hiker. He summited Mount Hood in 1964. And that's how we became one of the first outdoor boot manufacturers in the USA. This boot on the left is the Danner Light, and it was one of the first very successful GORE-TEX boot introduced in 1979. We just celebrated its 40th anniversary a few years back. And so this is the very first breathable waterproof boot in the market. On the right is our Mountain Light. We've started making this silhouette in the 60s. In fact, after an REI buyer told Bill Danner that our boots needed more Euro flare. So there it is. This was upgraded with GORE-TEX liners, becoming a fully waterproof and breathable boot later on in the 80s. And we still make the Danner Light and the Mountain Light till today. So this is the Mountain Light. And so we talked about how long our Mountain Light and GORE-TEX technology has been around, but the Mountain Light is still one of our best sellers. Our top customers include the rangers at the national parks, and it's been featured in the movie Wild with Reese Witherspoon, and Daniel Craig wore this boot in the 007 movie. You know, Daniel Craig was a fan of Danner. Like, you know, how cool is that? And because of the movie Wild, with Reese Witherspoon, I'd have to note that the majority of the consumers are actually women. It's the best classic boot for the modern explorers. And in fact, this is one of my favorite boots when I go mushroom hunting. I have confidence in every step, and this boot gives me the authority to walk through any given terrain in the backcountries of Oregon. And talking a little bit about this, the fit of these boots, it's important to know that these boots are made with single piece leather. So if you can see the whole front area and the upper and the tongue area, it's all single piece leather. And we've been making this in this construction for the last 60-ish years. You generally would want to go half size smaller than your sneaker size on these boots. It's also important to take time in the beginning to lace up the boot, especially before it's broken in. The tongue is double folded, and you want to have it fold properly. And in order to do that, you want to tighten one lace band at a time to morph the fold so that it doesn't have weird creases at the end. The GORE-TEX liner inside would also help you keep dry. I can walk through shallow creeks without being worried about my foot getting wet. And I gotta say that you would actually need time to break these boots in. But once you have this form to your foot, it fits like a glove. And once you break these in, you start to build emotional bond with it. And as you take care of it, and it builds this beautiful patina, there's nothing more beautiful than a well-worn pair of Mountain Lights. And I'll pass it on to Mickel about some of our newer boots.
They're awesome. Thanks, Yoji. When we talk about heritage performance, the Mountain 600 and the Trail 2650 on the slide, you know, they're built using modern materials and modern construction, but staying true to our high quality standards and durability standards. The important point there is, you know, Jordan talked about our factory and our high standards, but I want you to know that, you know, these are important and a big part of the growth within the height category. But even though they're not made in the Portland factory, they still follow the same high quality and durability standards. So the Mountain 600 on the left was ahead of its time. You know, this is basically a modern version of the Mountain Light that Yoji talked about, the pioneer of the lightweight hiker. Modern construction methods with Danner DNA all over it. So on the right, Trail 2650, you know, this bridged the gap between trail running and a light hiking boot. Lightweight, fast, versatility, you know, again, this was ahead of the trend and continues to create its own ecosystem today in the hike low category for sure. This is very important and also representative of the modern styles within the hike category. These continue to be best performing Danner hike styles, and the staff is hopefully familiar with these styles, and yet another point of differentiation for the footwear team and for the brand. To learn more about the Trail 2650, I would definitely invite you to check out the recorded table talk at the Danner Resource Center. We want to talk about evolution here as we kind of leave the Mountain Light and that piece of it. So on the left, you've got the Mountain Light, which is the classic heritage, right? Mountain 600, you know, in the middle, that's the modern lightweight hiker. And then what we're going to talk about next is the Vertigo style on the right, which is part of the 917 series. So this is more of an urban explorer. At the end of the day, you know, we're building beautiful leather boots. So aesthetically, that's always attracting that customer on the wall or out on the tables to the Danner product. I'm going to pass it over to Yoji. We invited him in today, and we wanted him to share a little inspiration on the 917 series of the Vertigo and the Logger. Yoji.
Thanks, Mickel. So these are the 917 family, and I'm a fan of classic boots, but I've got to admit that it's not for everybody. We wanted to build a family of boots inspired by our classic silhouettes that looks like a classic boot, acts like it, but slightly sleeker and has the comfort of a modern sneaker. We call these sneaker boots because it's got the best of both worlds. But what we didn't want to do is dumb down or cheapen the materials. You get the same features like the Vibram outsoles, the GORE-TEX linings, and the premium leather that ages as you take care of it, all on a heavily soft midsole. Honestly, you got to try it. So this is the Vertigo 917. It's based on our classic boot we made for the Japanese market a while back. It's got a small elastic gusset on the side. It's enough to slip on and off, but not to like slip off while you're on a rock watching this beautiful lake. We also wanted to make a boot that can be taken to the office while you're also thinking about heading outdoors in the afternoons. I take my kids out to the park, for a little trail walk, and these are perfect for me to just go out and transition between indoors and outdoors.
Thanks, Yoji. Yeah, so just want to run through the differences between the Logger and the Vertigo. This right here is the Logger 917. This boot is built on the same midsole and outsole as the Vertigo, but it's really inspired from the silhouette of our classic logging boot. One big key difference I want to point out is the removable kiltie. That's at the end of the laces. Aesthetically, that's a great looking piece. If you'd prefer to not be on there, you can remove it. But it's designed to protect the laces and the leather from any debris that would get caught between the laces there. The thing that I really like to point out about the 917 family in general, though, is just the high-end components that we put into this boot, something that you generally don't find in a typical lifestyle or urban boot. Yoji mentioned the GORE-TEX liner, the Vibram outsole. If you're familiar with the Mountain 600, this boot also is made with the Vibram SPE midsole, which is a rubberized EVA. It's extremely comfortable, provides a lot of rebound, and is much more long-lasting than a standard EVA. Talking a little bit more about the Vertigo, there we go. That's a great up-close image of it. Overall, as Mickel pointed to earlier, just all of our boots carry this classic Danner DNA and are just aesthetically beautiful leather boots. I'm going to pass it on to Yoji again just to talk a little bit more about our outsole design.
Thanks, Jordan. So I'd like to talk about some of the outsole designs that we use with examples of the Mountain Light, the Trail 2650s, and the Vertigo 917s. So these are all Vibram outsoles, and the left one for the Mountain Light is a classic version that Vibram designed a long time ago. This is one of the first mountaineering boots that was in the market, and Danner was one of the first to import these in the 50s. So we've been using this outsole for a very long time. And this, if you look at it, this has aggressive lugs with ample surface contact. You can see that there's flat areas around the perimeter with water evacuation slits on it. And this allows and also center lugs that are deep enough so that you can dig into soft surface such as grass, dirt, and snow, but also have traction on rocky terrains that are more flat. So when we think about outsole designs, we typically think about soft surface use and hard surface use and water evacuation. Those are very important factors. Now, the middle one is the Trail 2650 outsole. This is our most modern and aggressive lugged outsole that we use for the outdoors. And it has an internal rock plate. It's the red plastic thing inside, which acts as a shank. And it also has split heels that acts like a Jeep suspension on rocky terrains. It also has micro patterns on top of it to enhance grip to perform the best in the trail. And the right is our Vertigo and the Logger 917 outsole. So this has a classic Vibram aesthetic like the Mountain Light, but with more modern technologies inside. So you see little slits inside. Those are flex grooves, so it makes it more flexible. So you're walking in the city, it's a lot more comfortable. You still have that little split heel on the back, not as aggressive, but you still have that off-road traction. and you have deep lugs that that you get traction on grass and muddy soils, and with water evacuation and a lot of surface contact for kitchen or rocky terrains. So we design outsoles for different targeted terrains.
Awesome, Yoji. Love that detail there. Thanks for that. Appreciate that. So in following with tradition, we wanted to give you guys a sneak peek into next season and share what's coming. Yoji, we invited him here today. I think it's always great. He can give us a little insight and inspiration into the Evergreen series that's launching for fall and the new recrafting options.
Awesome, thanks, Michael. So I want to focus on this boot on the left. It's called the Douglas. So this is our new boot that's coming out this fall, 2022. This is a sneak preview, but we're trying to expand the line of products that can be repaired or recrafted. Currently, we offer recrafting for our premium USA boots that are $400. It's not accessible for everybody, but we're adding this boot, the Douglas, which is a mid $200 range boot that we are offering resoling and GORE-TEX liner replacements on. We can also replace the eyelet hardwares if needed. Also, the special part about this boot is that it doesn't have any stitching on the outsole, which means that it is a bridge for us to offer resoling and recrafting programs for cemented sneaker styles in the future. So more to come in the future.
Fantastic. Awesome. Hey, really excited for this new series and look forward to sharing more about our plans, why this is important, and why it's a point of differentiation. Okay, that ends our piece, and over to you, Marshall.
Michael, thank you. And thanks to Jordan and Yoji for running us through some of those exciting styles. I'm pretty amped to try some of these on and also see what's coming next fall and then into the long-term future from Danner. And a lot of what we heard about has to do with longevity and durability of product. So at GORE-TEX, we want to make sure that the products and the technologies we're putting in are going to be matched to the specs of how these boots are to last. And so, like Jordan talked about, as Danner is creating products and integrating our booties, they're going to be tested before they're even put into the products to make sure that each and every single booty is completely waterproof, windproof, and breathable. And you can see this test here that is run in factory. And then these are then put onto a last, and each booty is lasted, right? It's special to the particular shoe that it's being put into. In this particular image, you can actually see one of our insulated booties being wrapped into a Danner shoe. So, but rolling back even further, we need to make sure that the whole system is going to work. And we're going to do a series of tests to understand how these systems are going to work all together. So we begin with what we call the walking simulator test. So any new prototype, any new version of a shoe is going to go back to our plant, and we're going to test it in this walking simulator where we take their boots and we're going to put our robot feet into them, partially submerge them in water, and take anywhere from 200,000 to 500,000 steps. And what we're looking for is how the uppers interact with our technology that's placed inside. Are there stitch lines that are going to start to compromise the booty? Or does it just pass with flying colors? And so our robot feet have sensors, and they can sense water. And so we'll look at a report like this after it's over, and we'll hear everything passed, right? All green. But if there's any red on there, we know there was leakage at that point. We'll go back in, try to understand what caused that leakage, go back to Danner, make adjustments, and then do the walking simulator again until we pass, and then it can proceed to production. In addition, we have other whole shoe tests that we're going to run. There's the walking simulator that I just talked about. We do a whole shoe breathability test to understand how that finished product breathes. And then we actually do a test in factory, wherever the factories may be, where we pull random shoes off the line and fill them with water and at a high level of pressure via a centrifuge to make sure that the production is not compromising the membrane in any way. So, all of this means that the shoe that you are selling in your shop is going to be up to that durability spec that Danner's creating, that GORE-TEX is creating, and that together we're ensuring that the customers can trust. So another part of this is that recrafting program, which we've heard about. Danner has a fantastic recrafting program based in Portland, where they recraft shoes, including GORE-TEX shoes. And in fact, they can even recraft the GORE-TEX booty on the inside. So, if that guaranteed to keep you dry promise, if a customer is feeling leakage, we can actually fix the shoes rather than replacing the shoes. And this really is important from a sustainability and a responsibility standpoint. So really excited to be seeing more of that product rolling forward into 2023 and into the long-term future. I think this is a big change in our industry towards durable products, and we're very excited to be a partner with Danner on that. So thank you for watching. Giant thanks to Danner for taking the time with us today. We really appreciate having all you here, and we'll see you in future videos. Thanks.